Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Melisha with Love for Life Wellness, and this is our Sister to Sister Saturday, but this is a special edition today. Um, Today with Jasmine Stevens. I wasn't going to have a show this week, but Jasmine couldn't do a show on Saturday. So I said, well, this would be a great time to get her in. So I'm so excited to have her on, and we'll be talking about reclaiming your health for your abundancy right now. And so for those that don't know me, my name is Melisha Bailey. I am a certified nutritional health coach. I live in Springfield, Missouri, and I help women. I want to help women to regain their health. And I want to help women to learn how to live, to eat, and to transform their lives in whatever state that is. And so a lot of women, they're looking for solutions. They want things that are quick, that are easy, that are simple, but it starts in the mind, and that's where we start. And we set our goals, and we just move from there. I have several programs I offer, but and we'll talk about that later. But the main thing I'm offering right now, I'm talking about, is my monthly membership, and then joining my YouTube channel. So this is shown live on my YouTube and live on my Facebook pages. So let me make sure everything is all set up first. I forgot to do that, Jasmine. So let me see if I'm live on one page, and then I will do and then I will set everything up, and then we will be ready to start. I'm so excited about today's show because it's really important about having us reclaim our life, especially as women. So my phone wants to act up. I guess the internet in my house, it's slowing down. But anybody that's out there, please let me know that you're out there. I want to hear from you, and let me know that you are here. Okay, where am I at? This thing does not want to. I don't know what is wrong, but you know what? We are going to move on. Let me get this right. 1 second, Jasmine. So anyway, I'm so excited about our show. There we go. There is one person. I'm going to start a watch party there. There we go. I'm going to start a watch party. And then I want to share this to my other page. I don't know what is wrong, but you know what? We're going to move on. Let me get this right. 1 second, Jasmine. So anyway, I didn't really want to start a watch party here. Our show. There we go. There is one person. There we go. I'm going to start a watch party there. There we go. There we go. Watch party. I don't want to start a watch party there. I'm sorry, you guys, for any problems I'm having today. Please forgive me, but we're ready to start in just a second. I got one more place. We got a few people on today, and so I'm so excited to have our party today. Let me turn this down. So let me introduce my guest today. Today is we've got Jasmine Kelly-Stephens. She's originally from the Caribbean, and she lives in New Jersey. And so a lot of the coaches that I've asked, I found them from different groups, and I asked different ones would they like to be a guest on my show, and we've had so much great response, and so I'm just so excited for everyone that's been on. Everyone's had a great contribution to the shows that we have. But if you're out there, say hello, give me some hearts, let me know that you're out there, and if you have any questions for us, please share your questions with us, and I will forward them to Jasmine. So without further ado, I feel like I'm a little scrambled today, but that's okay. Normally I don't do a show on Saturday, and I've got people calling me, which I knew was going to happen because I'm normally not doing a show on Friday. But anyway, Jasmine, will you introduce yourself to the Love for Life Sister to Sister Saturdays and tell us a little bit about you, please?
Okay, so as you mentioned, Melisha, thank you so much for having me on. You are doing such a fabulous job in educating and helping women, and I am so proud of you for doing that. And so I'm Jasmine Stephens, and I'm originally from a very tiny island in the Caribbean called St. Kitts. I've been in the US for quite some time. I now live in New Jersey, and I am a mom, a wife, and I am a health coach. But before I was a health coach, I was in corporate America. I worked for Verizon for quite a few years, and just wasn't really, like many of us who work in corporate America, just wasn't really satisfied. I knew that was not what I was, that was not my purpose. And so, just to give you a little bit of actually how I became a health coach, I have an integrative doctor who is in New York. And I remember I just love what he does. I love the idea of integration and just all these different aspects of health. And I've always, like the way I was raised in the Caribbean, we had healthy foods and fresh foods every day and herbs for everything. So, I love that form of living. And so I remember asking my integrative doctor, I said to him, I want to do something like what you're doing, but I don't want to go back to school to become a doctor. Like, I don't want to be a doctor, but I just love the whole idea of what you're doing. And then he told me, oh, I know what you can do. And then he mentioned IIN, integrative nutrition, right?
Based in nutrition, yes.
Yes, based in New York. And he said, sometimes I'm even one of the speakers. And he gave me the information. I remember driving from New York back to New Jersey on the bus and just took the whole entire time on my cell phone researching the school. And the next day I called up the school and I actually enrolled because I think that was meant to happen. I've always loved health and just wanted to do something like that. Just didn't want to be a doctor. And so when he mentioned that to me, it was like, yes, that's what I need to do. And so I went to study to be a health coach. And here I am. I am enjoying it. I love working with women. And I think just working with women, empowering women, because, as women, we are like the backbone of our family. We're like the quarterbacks of our family. And so when you can actually educate the woman and empower the woman, I believe that she passes all of that on to her family. And so you have a healthy family. And when you have healthy families, then you have a healthy community. And it's a trickle-down effect. And so that's why I believe just empowering women first is so very important.
It's so important, empowering women, because, when we break down, the whole family can break down. If our health goes bad and there's no one to help us, a lot of times, our kids or our husband will do their best. It's hard. And so we have to stay healthy, and reclaiming your health is so important. That's where I came from. I was sick and I wanted to reclaim my health because I knew that if I continued on my decline, I was going to die, and I didn't want to leave my family to have to care for me. And so as women, we have to take back our power and take back our life and show our children that you don't have to be sick and that we can be healthy.
Yes, I agree. And so I know you wanted me to, to do the reclaiming of health. And so when you think about, reclaiming your health, well, reclaiming simply means you are restoring something that was broken.
Yes.
Like somewhere along the way, things just fell apart and something went wrong. And so, you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I have to just draw that line in the sand, and I have to say, that's enough is enough. I'm not crossing over that anymore. And I just have to take my health back into my own hands. And when you get to that point too, it's so easy to blame yourself. And you say, oh, I have this, I have diabetes because of all these years. I indulge in sugar and whatever the situation is. But then you can take the other approach and say, instead of blaming yourself, you can take the other approach and say, well, you know what, because of the situation that I'm now experiencing, I am going to take that situation and I'm going to learn from that, and I'm going to do better from now on. So instead of blaming yourself, because nothing comes good, right, out of blaming yourself. You move on, you empower yourself to do better. And I think even like for us women, when we have our families and we can make those positive changes, it means so much to our children. And, when we are, whatever we do as parents, we're teaching our children without even speaking, without even telling them a word, right? Just they're looking at how we deal with the situation. We're giving them those tools to deal with whatever they encounter in life. And so that's how we go about reclaiming our health. We say enough is enough. I have, carried around this extra 40 pounds too long, I just can't. I'm not sleeping well. Nothing seems to be going right. My relationships are just not working out. I need to figure out what I need to do in order to live an abundant life. And when we talk about abundant life, it's not just physical health either. Like God it's all encompassing, right? He's interested in our entire being, our relationships, our spiritual health, our mental health. It is all so important.
Absolutely. I mean, it all works together, as the Bible says. It all works.
Yes.
Together, and then everything has got to be out of whack, and everything is not going to be a perfect circle, but the goal is to try to make things as circular as you can, cohesive as it can, and as you can, and then to work towards it. Sometimes we may take a step backwards, but the thing is to not give up, to keep moving forward. And so
that's it.
And lots of times I tell my clients, some clients I've worked with over a year, and we may take 2 steps forward, but 1 step backwards. But as long as we're not taking 3 steps backwards, and then we get back on the path, that's all you can really ask for, is to get on the path.
Baby steps.
1 step at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 meal at a time, 1 breath at a time.
Absolutely.
It starts in the mind.
It does. It does start in the mind. When you think of how you've gotten to this point, and a lot of the times the point where we are now stems way back. It go back to when we were teenagers. Like for me, I remember that my sweet tooth started when I was a little girl. And yes, I was raised in an environment where going outside was just that's what we do all day, right? That was my favorite part of the day. Like when I come home from school, just spending endless time hours outside playing, and just being able to pick a fresh passion fruit from the vine, to pick, a guava or a mango or whatever. Those were just there. But I remember that I developed a sweet tooth because there was this one thing that I loved. It was called sugar cake. And it was just simply grated coconut and sugar and milk, but that thing was just so delicious. And you know what? Like, that's when things really got crazy. I think it just went down the hill, because when I came to America, that sweet tooth just only became worse. And then on top of, the sad diet, completely different from what I was used to, and then the processed foods and the sugar, it was just so crazy. And then I had to realize, it got to a point where I had to realize enough is enough. But that point didn't happen until I turned 30. I turned 30, and then I realized I am trying on my favorite pair of pants, and nothing, like, it did not budge. It did not budge. And that year was a pivotal year for me, because it was the same year my dad died. And so it was a lot to deal with, and just feeling like you're not comfortable enough telling someone about what you're really going through. And we struggle a lot with that. We want to take care of everything. We want to feel in control all the time. And so we don't talk about it. We don't go to someone with it. And for me, it was a struggle. But that pivotal moment for me was when I encountered a personal trainer at one of my jobs, and the company was one of the incentives for the company, where you can work out with a personal trainer, only paying him like $20 for an hour. Now that is unheard of. And so of course I took that opportunity, and that personal trainer wow. He introduced me to so much. It was $20. It was a $20 well spent just many times over. He introduced me to the integrative doctor, actually, that eventually inspired me to go on to IAN, and just so many things about why am I gaining the weight? Maybe you need to look into things like maybe your mercury level. Whoever thought of, checking your mercury level to see that could be the reason why you lose. And, a regular doctor wouldn't do all of those tests. So that would have to be like an integrative, nutrition doctor. And so, it, like you said, going back to it, all starts in the mind, but getting to a point where you get out of your mind and you seek the help that you need, because we don't know everything. I can help you, you can help me, and that's how we learn,
Well, even as a health coach, I learn from you, I learn from other people. And so we never get to the point where we're not learning. And so, I think about a lot of my clients with diabetes and how they struggle, but they use one source. And that's a lot of times those sources aren't the right sources. So you have to hear from different people, adapt to what helps you, long as you're making some progress. And so, and it's hard, being healthy, it can be hard, but it's not really that hard. It's very simple, but that's why people need health coaches to kind of show them how simple it is and have that accountability and have that guidance to help them along the way. Because I don't know about you, I've started and stopped so many diets, and without somebody to help you, that's where you got to keep that irky jerky going back and forth, and you feel like you're having whiplash because you're not making the progress that you want. And so
absolutely.
And so you work a lot with Christian women. What is that your main people that you work with? Or I know women, and why is it that Christian women seems to have your heart?
Well,
I know that you're Christian, but
because I'm a Christian, and also, I have spoken, as a business person, right, Melisha, that we're taught to, you got to narrow things down, right? You got to narrow it down. You can't speak to the whole world,
right?
because then you're not speaking to anybody. And so I actually just figured this out like a few weeks ago. It's funny that you asked, because I was always saying women over 40. And then I had a really, really good talk with a coach. It was supposed to be a 1 hour talk, and it turns into almost 2 hours, right? She was so good. And she was so good. Just by asking me all these questions, she said, I think you need to narrow it down a little bit more. And I think it needs to be Christian women. She went on to say, not just Christian women, but a particular. I'm like, that's a little too narrow. And so I nailed it down to Christian women. But before, it was really just working with like women over 40, because I feel like I'm a woman over 40, and I can definitely know what you're going through, and I can help you better. But working with Christian women, basically because like-minded people, it's easier for you to maybe speak to someone on that same level. And being a coach, what was also mentioned to me, that when you are a coach, you have to be who you are. You have to be your authentic self. You can't go outside of what you're not, because your people will see right through you.
Absolutely.
And and it's not going to work. So that's basically
when I first started, I really believed in my heart that God called me to coach, especially Christian women. And most of the women I've worked with have been Christian women, because those are the people that I'm around. I haven't really targeted that group, but I'm going to tell you what happened to me as an epiphany. Mm-hmm. This is when I was at my sickest. I'm sitting in church, and I'm looking around at myself first. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at all these people in the church. Mostly everybody in the church was sick. High blood pressure, obese, diabetes, whatever. People come to the altar, pray for me, pray I can lose some weight, pray I can get my diabetes, pray my feet don't hurt. Am I making sense? And I'm thinking, unfortunately, a lot of people a lot of us in this church, we're sick. Yes, we're going to heaven and we're praising the Lord. We're having a good time, but we're sick, and we cannot do our work if we are not well? And I
Oh,
think my head was about ready to explode that day. I'm like, I'm not going down this road. I've got to do better because I've got work to do for God, but I
yes,
can't do it
yes.
if I'm
Oh,
sick. And so, I mean, if this helps you, that, because we can't do our work if we're sick. And
no,
so we
no.
have to, our temples have to be healthy, our mind has to be
Yes,
healthy,
yes.
and it's not just enough to say we're on our way to heaven, but it's you know what I'm saying? But we've got to project wellness. We got to project, not that heaviness of sickness as we're doing our work. And so you've got a great calling on your life. So I don't know if you felt that in your walk so far with Christian women.
Yeah, I definitely concur. I feel like sometimes we think, okay, well, we are Christians and we pray every day, and okay, and that's all there is to it. But we very well know that the body was created to be healthy, and healthy, like being sick and having all these ailments, that's the complete opposite of healthy. And like the Holy Spirit doesn't want to drive in a broken down car, right?
Right? Yeah.
It cannot. I mean, when you're feeling broken down and when you're feeling sick, do you even feel like you want to read the Bible, like you want to read the word, like you want to say anything nice? You just want to crawl up and be by yourself, and then you start playing the blaming game. That is the complete opposite of being healthy. And that's not what God wants for us. He said that He wants us to prosper and be in
In
health.
good health. Yes.
Health. So health doesn't mean you just, living with limitations. Yes, sometimes you may have to live with limitations, but it means that you would have tried everything, and here is and this is, maybe what it is. But yes, it's not. It's living prosperously in every single area of your life, including of physical health.
Including our physical health. And I think, and a lot of times, I don't know about in your church, but I know a lot of church functions we go to, and some of the most unhealthiest food. And I mean, everything is fried or carbohydrates, nothing healthy, maybe a salad. And so, and that's what's hard too. And so we've got to make a change in our churches or in our synagogues or wherever your place of worship. Because I know of another young lady, she works in her Indian culture, and they're even though they're vegetarians, they have a very bad diet. And so she's trying to work in her culture,
Yeah.
but when she goes to wherever, I think wherever they go, they're Muslims. So wherever they go, the food is all, bad, not bad, but it's just not the most healthiest food. And so
Right,
we
right.
got a chance to teach people that we worship with how to eat better.
Absolutely. And they know, like they know the truth, right? They know that the body is supposed to be God's temple. But I think sometimes we just resort to the other way of life because it's the easy way out. And so many
Yes.
times we think it's more expensive to be healthy. And that's a misconception.
No. It
I
is
mean,
a myth.
who thinks
It's
that way
expensive.
now?
It's expensive to be sick because you got
Yeah.
to go to the doctor, spend your money on doctors, medication, tests. You got to buy bigger clothes. It's more expensive to be sick.
That is so true. So true. And so we have to stop thinking in lack, you know, and think bigger. Think bigger, and even like my niece, she's really like Christian women who are also business owners. And so yes, they're so busy, right? Um, trying to get to be just really successful in their
Right.
businesses, which is completely fine. But then you have to realize that, so after that, then what?
Then what?
Right? So you've reached your goals and your aspirations, and then what? And then you've accumulated the money, and then what? Right? You still your health, your physical health is actually more important. They say the greatest wealth is health, and they truly believe that. You
Yes.
know?
Let me acknowledge some of the people that are on with us today. I've got Vicky Clay with us, Amber Renee. Amber Renee, she's a minister's wife. She lives in San Diego. Melissa Somerville, she is here, and Muriel Bray, she is a minister's wife as well, and she is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you guys, ladies, for coming on today.
Thank you
I
guys,
really appreciate
ladies.
you. If you have any questions for me or Jasmine, please give us your questions about how you can impact your community being healthier, and if there's some things that you need in your life to help you to be healthier and to help the people around you be healthier. I think this is how we can possibly help today. So let's give us some steps. What do you when we're saying reclaim your abundant health? Give us like 3 steps that you tell people to do, like right off the bat.
Okay, so right after that, we say, because what we do as health coaches is not just the physical health. So look at, the main important areas in your life. So look at the physical health, your spiritual, your emotional, your career, your relationships with your friends and your family, and all those other aspects. And try to figure out, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you and how happy are you in these particular areas? That brings on such a shift, because then you realize, oh my gosh, I've been living like this all these years. I'm really not happy in my career. Oh boy, my relationships with, my mom or whoever it is just really rocky. And I'm carrying around this resentment and just all these negative feelings. All of that can have an impact on your health. So important that we look at those areas first, and then, we go from there. Also, because one of the things I really focus on is sugar. And I would like to focus on sugar and what you're eating, because it's just something that I struggled with. And I realized it's so easy to get the sugar in your diet. And a lot of people would say, oh, well, I don't eat cookies and candies and all those things. Those are the obvious forms of sugar, right? Because what is a cookie without sugar? Don't give it to me. I don't want it. I want a cookie with sugar, right? So we know that those things have the sugar in it, but how about those hidden forms of sugar, where the sugar is hidden, like in your condiments and your sauces and your bread, your ketchup and breakfast cereals and breakfast bars and all these things. And the sugar is just such a big deal, because it causes a whole lot of bad stuff to happen in the body. So I like to look at that, because that right there can help you to start feeling better right away.
So let's talk about some of the things that sugar does. I did a supermarket tour yesterday with one of my clients, and I might be shifting my business a little bit, because I'm working with a young girl that's 12 years old. Her mother came to me. She's a little bit overweight, but her mom and her at 12 years old, she's really concerned, because when she gets to high school, it's not so much that she's concerned about her weight, but she doesn't want to be sick. And I'm thinking, what a blessing that this young girl doesn't want to be sick. So we go to the grocery store tour, which is something I do with my clients, even virtual. I can do virtual tours.
I like that.
And we were looking at ingredients, and and we were in a health food store, but we were surprised at how many places that sugar is hidden.
Yes.
It's hidden everywhere. So you have to read labels, and that is so important.
Yes, that's one of the other things too, reading your labels. You have to become your own health advocate, because no one is going to do it for you. And it's so easy. It's just a few minutes. If you're going to buy anything in a box, in a bag, in a bottle, in a can, whatever it is, anything processed, because sometimes we may need to pick up the processed things, right?
Yes.
A box of cereal, we may need to, but even if you were to pick up the box of cereal, make sure you're getting the healthiest version of that cereal. So you always want to turn over those foods and read the ingredients. If sugar is the first thing on that label, oh my goodness, put it back and not just walk away, run away from it. Run away.
I would say if sugar is in the first 3 ingredients, because it's just full of sugar.
It can't be good. It cannot be good. And also too, sugar, everything has sugar in it.
Yeah.
Your fruits and your vegetables. So sometimes it just needs like a calibrating of your palate, right? And sometimes for some people, just going cold turkey, we know that doesn't really work, because the moment you finish that and then you start going back to normal, everything starts all over again. But there are times when you may have to say, how about 2 to 3 days of not having anything with added sugar, right? Just and then slowly you're putting in those things back in. So don't do anything with added sugar, but maybe you can still have your vegetables and maybe even fruits for a little bit for those 3 days, maybe putting them aside for a little bit. I really don't like that, but some people may require that because they just need to start tasting real foods all over again.
Real food. That's
Real
the
food.
thing. I have so many clients that said, you know what? I never really tasted real foods. And they are amazed at how good real food is. How great an orange is, or how great grapes are, you know what I'm saying? Or even how great, zucchini is. They've never eaten real food. And it's like an epiphany when we start to eat real foods.
And then you realize how sweet it is too. And so that takes care of that sweet tooth, right? And when you eat it slowly, you're not rushing, you're not eating it in front of the TV, you're always on the go eating. Sometimes we need to slow things down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. And we really savor and appreciate the real foods. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Somebody that's, has too much sugar in their body, how does it show up?
Oh, for everybody, it's different. I know for me, the weight gain, it could be acne. It could be you're just in a bad mood all the time, or it could be headaches. It could be so many things, because we're all so different. So it will show up in different ways for us. But I always say, pay attention to your body. When you eat, you should feel good after you eat. So if you feel crappy, or you feel bloated, or you just feel awful after you finish eating, that's the indication right there. You need to pay attention to what you just ate. And so we need to train people to look at how they feel, food and mood, How do you feel after you eat what you eat? And tell me. I know somebody, there was a young lady who said, well, I eat so much sugar, I can eat all sorts of sugar that I want, and I'm just fine. But then she was also like in her 20s, right? I mean, I used to feel fine too, when I was like very young. Oh, I was good to go. And that's why, I kept eating it. But after a while, listen, when you get into your 30s and your 40s and even your 50s, things change. Things just do not happen the way they used to. That's just how it is.
I have I do a detox, and I know you do a detox too, and I run detoxes often. And I have one of my clients who she's done my detox. She said after I started drinking green juice recipes that she got from me, I saw that it satisfied my sweet tooth sometimes, and I felt like it was a good start to my day.
Absolutely.
And so it's a great time to start. It's a great way to start your day. I drink juices and smoothies almost every day.
I love it.
But I think the word I was thinking, and one of the things, the reason why it's so good is because when you drink and you have those green juices or your smoothies, it really cuts down the inflammation. And so the inflammation that's when your body feels crappy, or your joints hurt, or you get those headaches, even the acne that you said, or and then you start seeing that fat accumulate. That's all inflammation and sugar. If you have too much sugar, you are inflamed. And that's why I like doing the detox, is because it helps you to get out the sugar out, and to detox your body and help you just get rid of some of the inflammation.
Right. And you talk about, the inflammation. You can look at you can look at other areas too. You talk about smoothie as well. And smoothies are absolutely one of the best ways, because, we should be trying to incorporate, 6 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables. And so what better way to combine that right? You do that. You may add some protein in there, some nuts or whatever. If you're vegan, you can find a really great vegan protein powder. I mean, the possibilities are endless. We really have no excuse. I think we have to come to the point where we have to decide, I'm responsible for my health. It's not somebody else. Some of us work better with having someone holding our hand. Honestly, I work good that way too. Sometimes I know I need to do something and I procrastinate. And then, like you push me, Melisha, I probably would have not reached out to you to say, hey, when are we going to have that? Because, the fear of just public speaking. Oh gosh. So thank you. I have to thank you for that. But
you are great. So you should do it more, Jasmine. You're fantastic. So thank you. You are great. You're natural. Do it, girl. Do it.
All the years of Toastmasters, I took Toastmaster for that reason, because I wanted to become a more confident and competent speaker. But it doesn't mean that the fear doesn't go away. But one of the things I'm learning is that you feel the fear and do it anyway, right? You do it afraid. You do it afraid.
I read a book called Do It Afraid. And so a lot of times you have to do it afraid, but you just got to do it.
Do it.
Sometimes people don't pursue health and wellness because they have failed so many times and they are ashamed of their failures. And so they're like, I did it so many times and I failed and I feel like I'm a failure, but that's okay. Our failures is what propels us to success.
Right.
And everybody that's had success in their life has had many failures along the way.
Right.
And so it's called failing up. You fail, failing up.
And then since you've done it so many times and you've gotten the same results, let's not continue doing it the same way. That's called insanity, right? Let's now change the way you're doing things. And so you may need a coach, or you may just need an accountability partner or accountability community, right? Where you have other people who will uplift you, who will encourage you. And when you're not in the mood, they will say, listen, we got to do this. Remember, and it's so important to know why you're doing that thing, why you're doing it. What's your why?
A lot of times when I'm working with my clients, Jasmine, that's pretty much step one.
Yes.
Identify your why. I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Well, because I want to get in a pair of jeans. That's not good enough. It got to go beyond it. You want to get into a pair of jeans. You got to find the why in your heart. And once you identify the why, that keeps your focus of where you want to go down the road for your health. And so my clients are not, when they are falling behind or they get discouraged, I'm like, remember your why.
Remember your why and write it out. Even if you have to write it out, some of us, we have to make a vision board, something, make little stickies, put them on your laptop, wherever you spend a lot of time, put those stickies there and remind yourself of why you are doing what you are doing. We just cannot get accustomed to mediocrity, because we're not going to get very far. And we can't say to our children, oh, you got to stop eating the junk, or you got to stop doing that. But hello, they want to see not by you talking. You know how our children nowadays, you got to lead by example. You got to walk the talk. You got to walk the talk.
You got to walk the talk. And I know I'm sure with you, Jasmine, a lot of the clients I work with I'm in my 50s. And so a lot of the women I work with, they have either grown daughters or grown children. They may even have grandchildren. So they do this because they want to teach their kids to eat better, but then they're concerned about their grandkids because they know the road that they've been on and they don't want that for their grandchildren. Like I have a brand new grandbaby.
She's beautiful. She's so beautiful.
Thank you. I love that girl. I sent a message to her mom today saying how much I miss her. But I bought a thing where they can make her food, organic, clean food.
That's so good.
Starting her off right. And so I didn't do that for my son. I wish I had her, but I didn't.
I know.
And so we have the opportunity as parents and grandparents to get it right now with our kids, so they're not sick with diabetes, obesity, having to go to the doctor, spending thousands. I spent $10,000 going to the doctor trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And you know what? It ended up by what I was putting in my mouth is what was making me sick.
And I bet you figured it out, right? You figured it out, not the doctor, right? Usually.
I changed my diet, and within 3 weeks of me changing my diet,
Wow.
Most of my symptoms went away. 3
Amazing. I
weeks.
believe it. I believe it. Food is
Food,
medicine.
you
Yes.
were great. Food is medicine, and we have got to learn. And as health coach, that's what we teach our clients. I've gotten a lot of yeses with that. Food is medicine, and
Yes.
we don't have to be sick. And sometimes we need a little help and getting rid of the sugar. I'm a sugar head. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. It's good. It's good.
But then you got to get to a point where you say enough is enough.
Yes. And then another thing too, you know what? I think even during the pandemic, a lot of us were forced to slow down, to cook our food. And that is one of the best things that you can do for yourself and your family, cooking your own food. Even if you are baking, or even if you're making a dessert, your dessert will be 1,000,000 times healthier than the one that you pick up from the store, because you won't put that much sugar in there, right? And all of the artificial other things that they put in there. So cooking your own food, and the best way to do that is just really having a meal plan. And it sounds so daunting, right? When you hear meal planning. Yeah, for me too, sometimes. But it doesn't have to be so complicated. Meal planning could just you really sitting down with the family, trying to figure out, hey, what everybody likes. Of course, healthy versions of what everybody likes. Putting a grocery list together, just figuring out your meals, your snacks, whatever, and just being intentional when you go shopping. Or it could be as easy as you doubling or tripling up on a particular meal, or cooking a meal once and eating it many times. You know, you cook it for dinner, you have it for breakfast, and then you have it for lunch. It is not difficult at all. It just takes some work, and you got to put some work in. It cannot happen unless you put the work in. Even if you have a coach or somebody holding your hand, you know what they say. My grandmother always had a lot of sayings. Oh my goodness. You can lead the cow to the water, but you can't make it drink. Like, no, you have to do it. You have to do it.
Anybody that's my client, or that have been my client, that are on here now, I should be getting a bunch of hearts and stars, because they know this is what I preach, and this is what I teach all the time.
Yes.
And so actually I just put together a meal plan, a meal planner. I just finished it, and it's free, and I'm going to offer it. If anybody wants it, I will have it available.
That's awesome.
But it took me a lot of time to do it, but it's a free resource, because I have a lot of people telling me they would love to have a meal plan. And so, but meal planning is really key to establishing and reclaiming your abundant health.
Yes. Having those staples, those pantry staples in the house at all times. You know, I'm all for having those pantry staples. I love my herbs and spices and just certain things I must have, you know, at home in the refrigerator or the cupboard all the time. Just so very important. Because you don't want to have to be in a situation where you're like standing in front of the refrigerator trying to figure out, okay, what's for dinner? Oh my gosh, I feel peckish. I want something to eat. Like, what can I get? And so you want to be able to have those things, but you won't have a problem if you don't bring it in the house. So another thing I usually say, don't bring the enemy in the house. Don't sleep with the enemy, right? Because if you bring the donut in the house, and you can probably manage for maybe a day or so not to have
that long.
But what's gonna happen tomorrow, right? And if you don't have it in the house, then you just won't have it. So don't bring it in the house. Leave the enemy out.
You know what I do? I have to admit, during the pandemic, I wanted something sweet, so I baked the cake. I baked the cake, and I said, well, at least I know what's in it. Now, I ate the whole cake, but I made it. So, you know, and I use organic flour, and I use some sugar substitute, and it really wasn't that bad. It was really pretty good for some of the ingredients I used in it. But a lot of times, if I want like some ice cream or something, instead of me bringing it in the house, I'll go get a scoop.
Right.
And
Yes.
so the thing is, you don't want to deny yourself because
Right.
that's
Yeah.
when you feel deprived.
Yes.
So have grace with yourself.
That's
Be
it. That's
kind
it.
to yourself. If you really want it, get it. But the goal is not to eat some ice cream for a week at a time.
Right.
Get
Right.
it, eat it, move on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. 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 And then, maybe you could ask yourself, hey, why do I really want it? You may actually come up with a real reason why you keep craving that thing, you know?
Right.
So ask yourself those questions. Well, why do I really want this?
Does anybody have any questions out there? We've got quite a few people on. We've got Deborah on, Beth is on, Christine has been on today. And if anybody has any questions, please give me some questions because we have got Jasmine and she is has a wealth of information. A lot of times she does a lot of sugar detoxes. Some of the challenges you do quite a bit of detoxing from sugar challenges.
Yes.
I don't do that per se, but I do when I do a detox, we're not eating any dairy, no meat, no sugar, no caffeine. And, for 12 days, it's a short challenge, but we're
Right.
eating good, healthy food. Now, by day 3, you're not feeling so good, but by day 4, you're normally feeling pretty good. So anybody have any questions for Jasmine today? But we were talking about reclaiming your health for abundant. And reclaiming is restoring, reviving, renewing, going back and getting going. And that's where we at. A lot of times our pain point is we're so sick and we want to feel better. So we were trying to get back to where we were before and be better than we were before.
Yes. And think big. Think big. You were born, you were created to be a healthy being. And so don't I go back to that word, mediocrity. Don't get accustomed to that. Try to just be the best, your healthiest in every single area of your life.
And the healthiest in every area of your life. And I like that because it's not just about what we eat, but it's about how we think and how we live and how we treat people as well too.
Absolutely.
So, but I have enjoyed our conversation today. Let me see, but we were talking about, you said, look at I didn't write everything down.
Look at those different areas, like
look at the areas. Oh, I can't read that.
Yeah.
Look at the areas, decreasing our sugar. What was another one of your tips you said?
Well, I kind of broke down we went a little deeper into the sugar. So when it comes to sugar, reading your food labels, right?
Okay. Reading the labels. Okay.
Also, I think is it the American Food Administration that suggests there's an amount of sugars that we can probably help to gauge ourselves when we're buying anything like processed. So when you're reading your ingredients, you may have to, I don't believe in adding numbers and all those things. I just think simplicity is so good and it works every time. But just knowing what's that number that you should eat every day. So
they say for women, we're supposed to only have 25 grams of sugar a day. And so if you drink one soda a day, that's like 39 grams of sugar. So you are even.
So you're done. You're done for the day.
So you're done for the day. And so, and 25 grams is really not a lot. And so, we have to have some sugar in our diet, but and like some people are like, well, I only eat honey or agave nectar. The body doesn't know the difference. The body just treats it as sugar. And so you still have to decrease the sugar. If you're eating fruits, there's sugar, but it's a natural sugar. And then you have the fiber, which helps to the digestion of the sugar. And so that helps as well too. But sugar is the culprit. And, I think, and to me, if we can get we could spend just hours talking about how the sugar affects the gut and our brains and our everything. And
so the overconsumption of the sugar actually becomes very acidic as well, right?
Yes.
And so when the body is overly acidic, we know what happens. It's setting you up for a whole lot of things. the heart disease, the inflammation, the arthritis, the cancers. So you want to make sure that you are not putting so much acid in the body. And it's just so much we can talk about, right? Because if you say you have a meal and you're just having maybe a protein and a starch, that's very acidic.
Yes.
You have to include the veggies in there, guys. The veggies are very important. You want to just stabilize things a little bit.
And I've even tried to get to the point where I don't even eat too much starch anymore. I try to have, like some type of protein and a vegetable. Sometimes I may have two veggies, a salad and another veggie.
Yes.
Because you don't necessarily have to have the starch. And then if then we can go on a whole nother conversation about complex carbs or simple carbohydrates and how they affect our blood sugar levels and things like that.
Yeah, the complex carbs are actually not bad.
Right. But even at that, complex carbs, we need the complex carbs because it helps us to break down the fats and the sugars. But even at that, you don't really need them. And then you don't need that much of them. And so, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But you got to learn your body and figure out what's good for you, because what's good for me and you, Jasmine, may not be good for everybody. So.
Exactly. And that's why smoothies are so good, because, you can pack so much goodness in that smoothie. You start your day out and then you feel good for the rest of the day. You feel like I'm on top of the world. I'm ready. I'm going to have a good lunch because I feel so good from the smoothie that I had this morning. And, it's all about how you feel. You gotta give yourself that. Got to do that for yourself.
Most of my clients know that's where we start out. We start off with the why. My coaching is it's a lot about mindfulness. And so we're talking a lot about how to change our mindset, but I'm throwing that smoothie, and that's normally by session 2, we're talking about getting those smoothies in, because that's the foundation for everything.
Yes.
So if anybody wants any smoothie recipes, let me know. I've got some. I'm sure you've got some good recipes.
I do. Mine it just has a whole lot of veggies. I can put mixed greens in there, or romaine lettuce, or baby spinach, and then I even put celery in my smoothie too.
Do you have a veggie? Because I was looking at a Vitamix, because I have like a Vitamix. Okay, I think I'm going to get one. I was looking at some yesterday. I think I'm going to buy me a Vitamix, because I had a NutriBullet, but I've broken 2 of them. And so now I just have a regular blender. And so I'm thinking, okay, no more NutriBullets. I'm thinking about getting a then I can get more of the veggies in my smoothie than with the Vitamix.
The Vitamix is awesome. I bought the Vitamix before my son turned 1, and he's 14 now. So I've had it for 13 years. Never had a problem with it. And it's just beautiful. When you put your seeds in there, you don't even know that there is seed in, like chia seeds or hemp seed. You can't really tell. It just really smooths everything out. Everything is good and good for you to digest, ready for digestion. It's great.
Well, I was just looking at some yesterday, so you've inspired me. I'm going to go buy me a Vitamix.
It's a great investment, and it's your health. It's your health.
Well, I'm so glad that you did it afraid.
Oh,
you
did
amazing today, Jasmine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You don't know what you did today. Yeah. It means a lot. It means a lot. And so now I feel like, okay, I can do another one and another one.
I may have that. You may just do a whole show just on sugar, because I think this is, in order for people to reclaim their life, we really have to start with getting out the sugar. And I think that is key. Because sugar I call sugar the devil, and it works on the brain like cocaine, and people wonder why they can't give it up, but it works on the brain like a drug. And I've done a sugar blues workshop, that was part of IIN, and so I've done those before, because that's like step number 1 is to really decrease your sugar for optimum health. If we're consistently eating sugar, we're not going to have the health we want. And what Amber says is really necessary to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Well, Amber, let me tell you, you're right, but my naturopath told me I need to be drinking about 80 ounces of water a day. Woo, Lord have mercy. I've been doing it, but it's been hard.
You start with your weight, and whatever your weight is, you divide it by 2 and you drink that in ounces. And so, yeah. So when they say 6 to 8, it doesn't mean, and people normally go with the 8, right? So it's not 8 glasses for every person. You may need more. You may need more than that. And if you're very active, you may need more than that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad, Amber, get your 8 glasses in the day. But when my naturopath told me I needed more, I was drinking 40 ounces. I was glad to get my 40 ounces.
I know.
And she was like, well, that's not enough. I'm like, what?
I know. It's a struggle. Water,
yeah. I'm like, double? Are you crazy?
It's a struggle. Trust me. I have mine here. And Melisha, I have mine here too. I try to pour it out, right, from in the morning. So that way I'm like, I have to drink it. I have to drink it. And I love to put the lemon in it. I put lemon. Fresh lemon is so good. But it's so important because your body is 70% water, and you need to put it back. It's coming out when you're sweating, when you're using the bathroom. It's just you're constantly excreting water. So you need to put it back.
Say if you're thirsty, then you're already dehydrated.
Yes.
And so water, especially in the summer months, people. So make sure you get your water in. Do I like drinking 80 ounces or more? But you know what? Since I've been drinking 80 ounces, my skin, I have pretty good skin. I'm blessed.
Yes.
So it's like my skin is like even getting better and tighter.
Yeah.
And it's actually flushing out the fat from the cake I ate during COVID. So.
Yeah, usually the skin is like the first indication that you're well hydrated, which is really good. Yeah.
And so
baby steps, guys. Don't go crazy. You can't drink 80 ounces right away. And a cup, another cup today, another cup tomorrow. Just give yourself some grace, right?
Yeah. One of my clients, she gave me this tip, and I've been using it. I've got a big jug that I have, but she said what she does, she buys the little bottles, and she said she's able to drink it right down, and so she's able to get her water in. Well, this is a 16 ounce here. I can drink a 16 ounce in one sitting. I can drink it straight down. Yeah. And so instead of me looking at this big 40 ounce jug I need to drink, I put it in something smaller, which is more it's a Jedi trip.
And it's whatever works for you too. You know, another thing, because I've tried that too, put it on your schedule. Put it on your calendar. Water break on your calendar and let it be ongoing. So when your phone beeps, you know it's time to drink some water.
Amber says we both have beautiful skin. Thank you, Miss Amber. I love you. I miss you. I need to get to California. I need to get to San Diego to see you. Thank you, dear. Amber just retired, and so she's got a lot of time. She had a very stressful job, so now she's got a lot of time to spend with her grandbaby. And I appreciate you being on today and your input. Amber's done my detox several times, and she's been a blessing to me. Love her and her husband and her son. She's got the most beautiful granddaughters. And so thank you, Amber, for being on. So, but yeah, drinking that water, getting rid of the sugar, drinking your smoothies, that's going to help with
moving. You got to move too.
We didn't even talk about that. I mean, that's a whole nother, I'm going to have a personal trainer on soon to really talk about the impact of exercise, because we've got to move. And we've got to reclaim our health. And so, and so anybody that wants to contact me or Jasmine, please, because, with COVID, it's coming back around. It never went away.
Right.
And so if you have any type of high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, you have to get well. Yeah. Because if you get sick with the COVID, you may not die, but it's going to be a hard road. Yes. And then you're going to mount up doctor bills and medications. And so you don't want to go through there if you don't have to.
Exactly.
And so as a health coach, I'm more about getting healthy now more than ever.
Now is the time. Definitely. Yeah.
So it's time. It's time. Stop. Mediocrity is not
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 acceptable. Not
not
acceptable.
acceptable anymore. And if we want to live to be our best self, to do our work for God and be our best for our families, we've got to get well.
That's
Because
it.
with COVID,
Yes.
I don't know what to say. I pray that I'm strong enough and healthy enough to get well, but I'm working really hard not to get it. So anyway,
Yes.
it's time to reclaim our health and
That's
take
it.
back our health
We
and
have
do
to take back what was taken away from us. Yep. Yep.
Yes. Well, any last words? I appreciate you so much for being here. It was a great, great show, Jasmine.
It was so good. It was so good, Melisha. You were doing an awesome work for all these women, and I really appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. And just want to remind our women that you are enough. You are enough. And you were created for a purpose, and my purpose is going to be different from yours. And so you just have to realize that you can accomplish that. It doesn't matter what yesterday was, what last week was. Let's focus on now, and let's draw that line in that sand and say, that's it. I'm not going to cross that line. I've had enough. My health is important. I need to do this for me, and figure out why. What is your why, and stick to it. And if you're having issues, find somebody who can hold you accountable. That is so important. And just realize that you were created to be a healthy being. It is your God-given right to be healthy. So reclaim it today. It's yours.
I'm starting a new signature program. It's called Live, Eat, Transform. Let go. Let go of the past. Learn how to live your life, eat good food, and transform your mind, body, soul, and spirit. Let go. We're going forward. We're not going backwards. Let it go. Live, eat, transform. So that's my new program. I'm going to be
awesome.
now.
I love it.
God gave it to me at 4:00 in the morning. I'm trying to sleep. And I knew, and so when he gave it to me, I had to get up and write it down. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
This was my day. Yes, let go, live, eat, transform. And that's what we're doing. That's what Amber's talking about. But we were talking about accountability, and I'm going to let you go. This has been a long show. That's why I like group coaching, which is what my membership is. It's all about group coaching, because having and even in my private group, the Love for Life private group. So anybody that's not a part of my private group, the Love for Life, it's a community of women it's a sisterhood where we help each other, lift each other up,
and like help that.
Get healthy. That's why I created that small group. You're part of the Love for Life group, and it's just us women. I've got about 240 in there. I would love to have 1,000 women in there. So share it with your friends. Tell somebody to join the group, because we're building a community of strong women that want to be healthy, that are going to hold each other up, encourage each other, and say, sister, that you can text them or message somebody. And so the Love for Life group, it's a great thing I want to do. And then with my membership, it's going to be about group coaching, where you have accountability in a group. So
I like that.
I mean, and we got to have help. So
yes, we all need help.
I know I do. So
I do.
And the good thing about being a coach is my clients keep me accountable. I cannot say you got to walk the walk and talk the talk. And so I have to be accountable to my clients, because I hold them accountable, and I got to be accountable to them.
That's it.
Thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate it. Have a blessed and wonderful day.
You too, Alicia. Thank you. Thank you. It was really fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. I'm going to have the menu planner. If you want it, let me know. And if you want some smoothie recipes, let me or Jasmine know. And have a happy Juneteenth, everybody. Have a great, wonderful rest of your day. Happy Father's Day. Any gentlemen that are on here, and I appreciate you so much. Jasmine, don't go away. We're going to end this broadcast, okay?
Okay.
Take care, everybody. God bless.